1 in 5 kids in America are obese, and no one wants to talk about it. And guess what? I suffered the consequences of this epidemic. When I was 13 years old, I weighed about 250 pounds, and I was at my worst health ever. I was unfit, extremely obese, to a point where literally my doctors told me I was about to become diabetic. And throughout this period of my life, I lived in a household where everyone around me was pretty much fat. My parents, my siblings, my uncles, everyone around me was fat. And this problem arose because we don't come from a wealthy family. We didn't have enough money to afford organic foods like avocados, vegetables, and all that you get at that grocery store. We had enough food to go out and eat a lot and also afford processed food. And on top of that, I come from a Mexican household. And being Mexican, our diet contains fatty foods like tacos, burritos, and sweet foods like sweetbreads, conchas, and all that. You know, if you're Mexican, you know what foods we eat. So being fat, especially in the Mexican household, was completely normal to me. But reality clicked whenever I went back to school. I went to a school where everyone around me was white. Not to make it a race thing, but they were white and more on the upper class end. So they come from backgrounds where they can afford more organic foods than my family could. And at this school, I was known as the fat kid that would sit in the back in the class and not talk much. And I hated myself for this. I had trouble with my self-image. I couldn't help but just compare myself to the other kids, the other classmates that were just better at me at just anything. They were confident, they were healthy, they looked better than me, they talked to girls. They were just better at me at just anything. Even though I wasn't really bullied and treated badly at the school, which I'm really grateful for that, but the way they treated me in a sense of pity, like I was the kid that you're not supposed to make fun of. And yes, I'm grateful for that, but deep down, that hurt me. It made me feel different. It made me feel like I was like the ugly duckling, you know? And I felt very lonely throughout this period of my life. I did have friends, but the friends who I could truly rely on were YouTube, junk food, and video games, which made my life even worse, to the point where I literally had bad thoughts of, I'm not gonna talk about it, but you know what. And this is not normal for a 13-year-old kid. I should be going out, running around, playing tag, being on my bike, falling down, and getting back up. But unfortunately, my childhood was not like that. I remember one summer night, I was on my phone, in my room, watching YouTube like always. And I remember coming across this one video from one of my favorite YouTubers. And his name was like Scares, something like that. I always used to remember him. But I remember watching this one particular video. He posted like a transformation video of his weight loss. But I remember watching this video and becoming so inspired and motivated to also make a change in myself. I thought to myself, if he can do it, then I as well can do it. I can lose weight. And ever since I watched that video, I decided to make a change. I went to the gym consistently, started eating garbage food. I wanted to become a new person all right before high school would start. And I did. In the course of a couple months, I lost over 100 pounds. Even though my diet wasn't all that good, I still lost weight. And it was something that I never thought I would accomplish. And I remember walking into orientation for high school, and I remember seeing my middle school friends, and they were completely surprised. They were all lit up. They were surprised that I managed to change my physical appearance. And you would think right there and then, my life would completely change, right? Like my physical appearance changed and I will be all this confident and happy kid, right? No, it wasn't like that. Unfortunately, I was still depressed and insecure of my self-image. And throughout my high school career, I was like this. Even though my physical appearance changed a lot, I was still insecure. The little fat boy that was insecure and scared of everything was still inside of me. I still had the mindset of a born-to-be failure that I gained from my beast childhood. That would directly affect my performance in everything, in my studies, in sports. Even deep down, I knew I could do better. I was scared and insecure of my abilities. The scars of my childhood were still with me. And to this day, I still feel them. I still have some insecurities of my loose skin and my speaking problem. But through self-improvement, I'm learning to become better and improve on them and embrace who I am through God and through myself. Hey, I hate to say this, even though I truly love my parents, but taking into account the way I lived my childhood, I do not look up to them in this aspect of health and discipline. Yes, I'm grateful for everything they've done. They worked so hard for me and they've done absolutely everything to keep me alive. But I do not look up to them in this aspect of health and discipline. I know it hurts to say it, but it's the ugly truth. I wouldn't want to be fat when I have kids. I wouldn't want my kids to look at me like I'm Homer Simpson or some ugly fat guy on the couch that watches TV all the time. I wouldn't want that for my kids because I wouldn't want my kids to become like that. And that's how parents should be. Parents should be seen as healthy role models and superheroes for the kids. And nowadays, it doesn't seem to be like that. Nowadays, it seems to be normal to be fat and content with being lazy. I know what I'm about to say is gonna sound stupid and crazy, but throughout my day, I counted over 1,000 people who I counted that were fat and only gone to the gym and to the store. I know it sounds crazy, but that's the crazy truth. A lot of people are fat. You look back 50 or 100 years back, people weren't like this. People were actually doing activities that will get them in shape and become more healthy. Nowadays, it's all in reverse. People are just inside, watching TikTok, being on their phones, being lazy, and just not doing anything to move their bodies. And guess what? The obesity rate in the US alone is 40% and is expected to be in 5 years, in 2030, expected to be 50%. How crazy is that? Close to half the people you see in your day are going to be fat. And who's to blame for this? Who's to blame for child obesity? Is it genetics? Is it luck? Is the kid's choice? No, it's their environment. It's their parents, the people who are responsible to take care of them until they come of age to make their own decisions. They are responsible for this. And yes, once they're adults, they can make their own decision to become fat and lazy. That's their choice. And quite recently, I kind of bulked up. That's why my cheeks are a little bit fatter. I made the decision to bulk up and gain a little bit more fat for my bodybuilding journey. I know there's gonna be some people out there blaming their status, their money, their class. Stop doing that. Stop playing the victim. It is your fault and your responsibility that you're rich or you're poor. It doesn't matter the background you come from. It's your responsibility for your own financial status. Everything that happens in your life is completely your fault. If there's any parents watching this right now and their child is fat, it's your fault. It's your own fault. It's not your child's choice. It's you. And you know what I'm saying is completely disrespectful for all parents, including mine, but it's the ugly truth. And I'm advocating for what's right. My environment made me obese and depressed at only 13 years old. Because my lifestyle, this was the only thing I knew about. Everyone around me knew how to eat unhealthy, not healthy. And guess what? When I lost 100 pounds, no one told me to do this. I took the decision myself. Even though I had people responsible for me, for my own decisions. I took it upon myself to make this decision. And people around me were still eating unhealthy foods. I remember sometimes I would go out with my family to eat dinner. And they would offer me some bad food and garbage food. And I would have to reject them and make them feel bad. Yes, I did seem like a dick, but I was just a kid trying to make a change. And the change needs to be done around this thing. Child obesity is not right. It's not okay to be fat as an adult or a kid. But more importantly, as a child, it's not okay for a child to be fat. Because they're gonna go through so much pain like I did. Feeding your kids garbage food is not cute. It's not love. You're training your kids to develop bad habits that will later affect them in their later life, in their adult life. That is gonna be very, very, very difficult to undo. You're setting up your kids for failure instead of success and having healthy bodies. And also bad mental health. And mental health has become so much a big problem nowadays because of technology and social media. And suicide has become the biggest killer of men under the age of 35. And more each year are killing themselves. And yes, there are some women that kill themselves, but men take up 80% of those suicides. This is not right. Action needs to be done around child obesity. Child obesity is the parent's choice. It's a choice in general. If you had a magic pill to be fat or to be skinny, you're obviously going to be choosing the skinny one. You want to be fit and healthy, right? Everyone wants to be like that, including your child. Your child wants to be fit, and you're the responsible to make them fit. If your child is obese right now, you need to take action right now. Literally, this is a matter of life and death. According to some studies, obesity cuts down your life by 16 years. Wouldn't you want to live those 16 years? Wouldn't your child also want to live those 16 years? Being fat is not right. I've been there and I've done that. If you're watching this and you're currently obese, take the step forward like my 13 self did. If my 13 self can do it, then you can do it. I know it may seem hard and intimidating at first, but start out small. Start by doing a couple walks a day, 20 to 30 minutes daily, and do this around for a couple weeks until you can progressively overload to do 1 hour runs or actually go to the gym and lift weights. Also take account your diet. Slowly drop what you're eating. You don't have to do this whole extreme diets where you cut off 1,000 calories and all that. Start out small and slowly drop what you're eating and switch those unhealthy foods for healthy foods. And I guarantee you're gonna notice the difference in your health, your appearance, and your well-being. By you and parents taking action on this, we can change the world and end this epidemic. Imagine the people around you being fit and full of energy. You could go on runs, you could go on hikes without anyone having trouble. How beautiful would that be? Imagine how beautiful the loving connection you guys are able to make. because no one is struggling. Thank you for watching. Stay on that grind and take action.